Hi everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this webinar on photo mapping and disaster response, where we'll highlight GeoJot, the latest technology in smartphone field data collection, and GPS PhotoLink for processing and sharing your data. My name is Stephanie Diard, and I'm the Marketing Director at Geospatial Experts. I'll be the moderator for today's webinar. I have a few housekeeping issues to cover before we get started. Many of you will have questions as we present the information to you today. We'll have a Q&A session at the end of the webinar and answer as many questions as time permits. Everyone should have a vertical toolbar in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. If it's minimized, it'll just show a red arrow, and you'll need to click on that arrow to see the available tools. There's a Q&A section in the toolbar where you can type in a question. So please feel free to type in a question at any time during the presentation. Your questions will be fed into the queue and answered during the Q&A session at the end of the webinar. You may also use this tool if you're having any technical difficulties during the webinar, just to let me know, and I'll take care of that. Many of you know that GeoJot is currently available for iOS, so that's iPhones and iPads, and that we're currently getting towards the end of beta testing for Android. I just wanted to answer that question up front because I thought that might be a common one. And I also wanted to point out that an article was just released in American City and County Magazine, Mapping Disasters with Geotagged Photos, that highlights how 3 different counties are using our tools, well, cities and counties are using our photo mapping tools for disaster response. And that is Accomack County, Virginia, Webster County, Missouri, and Fargo, North Dakota. So go ahead and check that out. Once again, thank you so much for joining us today, and I will now introduce you to today's speaker, John Clark, our Director of Business Development for Geospatial Experts. Rick Bobbitt, CEO and Head of Development, will also be with us during the Q&A session of today's webinar. And with a click of the mouse here, I will turn the presentation over to John. There you go, John. You're on.
Thanks, Stephanie. Again, I'm John Clark, and I'm Director of Business Development at Geospatial Experts. My focus is on our clients and partners, so please use me as your primary contact for additional information or to answer any of your questions. Today we will yet easy-to-use system for the collection, the processing and mapping of photos and data, and the use of the resultant information in your disaster preparation and response efforts. Then we will answer the questions that some of you have already started sending in, and these slides that I'm showing here at the beginning will be available on request. Geospatial Experts is in its 11th year as the world leader in photo mapping systems for business. 2 of our flagship products combine to form the core of our information collection and mapping system. GeoJot, the latest addition to our photo mapping solution set, is used on smartphones and tablets for photo and data collection in the field. GPS PhotoLink is our widely used desktop application for processing and preparing collected data, maps, and photos for use in reports, database, and mapping systems. Geospatial Expert systems are used worldwide. In the USA, every federal agency, all state governments, countless cities, counties, and universities, and the Fortune 1000 use our systems. Today we will talk about how our clients are using mapped photos and data for disaster preparation, response, and post-disaster planning for virtually every type of disaster, including flooding, tornadoes, fires, hurricanes, and hazardous material emergencies. Public safety officials now have the option of using their smartphone or tablet to collect photos and data. These widely used devices also mean that personnel from zoning or assessment or planning departments or a citizen corps can be trained to capture vital information during and after an emergency. Map data encoded photos help responders navigate through a compromised infrastructure, avoiding dangerous or impassable areas. Map photos also help responders triage and wisely deploy limited resources. Map photos document before and after cleanup and reconstruction efforts, possibly avoiding fraudulent damage claims after the emergency. Importantly, map photos document and support requests for disaster declarations. To support your disaster declarations, it is critical to, from the beginning, document the scope and specifics of the disaster you are responding to. An early pictorial record is the foundation for documenting and proving your community's loss to the state and FEMA evaluators. FEMA crews also need to be able to find the properties and the assets impacted. So photos and data and GPS coordinates can aid their efforts in actually getting to the properties. Early documentation is important since the cleanup process starts immediately. Water recedes and equipment and crews may even compound the damage initially caused in the disaster. So you want to have documentation as early as possible. Data collection speeds your ability to provide a defensible estimate of damage that meets established FEMA thresholds for a disaster declaration. It seems like we all are witness to more disasters and federal disaster declarations than ever before, and statistics seem to support that observation. If you look at 2011 at the top, 2010, the numbers keep going up from previous years. Disaster declarations, federal disaster declarations by state. Map data and photos can be an integral part of each stage of disaster management, from preparation through response, rebuilding, and planning for the future. At all disaster management stages, decision makers benefit when assets, property, and situations are documented with photos and data. Next, we will show you an end-to-end system for in-the-field data collection, data transfer, information editing and quality assurance, and data output for end users and information sharing. Photos and data are first collected in the field using GeoJot or other devices that capture photos, data, and GPS coordinates. Second, the photos and data are transferred to the processing computer using either the cloud, USB, SD disk, or email transfer mechanisms. Third, GPS photo link is used to process and prepare both data and photos. And finally, output for end users, including reports, watermarked photos, and input for database mapping or other back-end systems, is created by GPS photo link. The first step is to capture the information. Hardware systems that capture photos, GPS coordinates, and data, also known as attributes, include dedicated field GPS computers such as Trimble's Nomad, Ricoh's GPS and data collection camera, and the latest addition to this group is geospatial experts GeoJot. The system we'll demonstrate today captures and maps both GPS and alphanumeric information about the object or subject of the photograph. In the geographic industry, alphanumeric information is known as attributes and attribute values. This is an example of a photo documented with data. The geolocated date and time stamped data is actually encoded right into the photograph and becomes part of the original photo JPEG file. The photo on the left tells us a lot. Debris is jamming the bridge and may lead to further local flooding or a dammed up and washed out bridge. In the middle and right columns are listed data attributes and their values that were captured at the same time the photo was taken. The second row shows the attribute PA, or preliminary assessment. In the second row on the right-hand column is the values selected by the photographer, which is debris removal. The attribute in the fourth row is degree of damage, and its value is minor degree of damage. You'll see shortly how you'll use GeoJot, and you can create your own attributes and pre-populate drop-down lists of attribute values. You'll use these to quickly document the photos you take in the field. Because our collection and processing system can provide the kind of output to support most end users, it is important to think about how your information consumers will use the information collected. Our system output supports almost every need by end user systems. The most straightforward output is to watermark attribute values on photographs. Here, the Army Corps of Engineers has collected information as part of the federal mandated real property audit, in this case a picnic shelter and the floodplain at the Bear Creek Recreation District. This documents pre-disaster information concerning this government asset. Data attributes, again, are in the yellow column with their corresponding attribute values in the white column. In the midst of a disaster, county officials might need to initially provide FEMA with either watermarked photos or photo JPEGs just like these that include latitude and longitude and other key data points. Printed and web-based reports meet another end-user need. Here, a report shows Brown County, South Dakota flooding with watermark photo at the top. In the middle, the photo is located on both satellite and street maps. The attributes and attribute values that further describe the photo are in the table at the bottom. This is another example of that kind of report. Photo at the top, two maps in the middle, attribute values and attributes at the bottom of the page. This is a GPS photo link context sheet report showing 3 photos located on 2 different maps. The user can select 1 to 8 photos per page with a contact sheet report. A condensed report shows 3 photos, each located on a map and each with its own attribute data. The system also provides output for use by digital mapping systems such as Google Earth. This is an example showing the Brown County flooding in Esri's ArcGIS digital mapping system. GPS Photo Link provides output that can be used by most database systems also. We'll show you a live view of Accomack County, Virginia's web-based site that allows evacuated residents to see the condition of their neighborhoods and homes in just a moment. This is, again, highlighted in the article that Stephanie mentioned earlier. This is a screenshot of that public-facing website. Output that supports every kind of output from the system will support every kind of information consumer: watermark photos, digital mapping, printed reports, web-based reports, database input. We'll see in the demo how Brown County uses flyover photos to help set response priorities. A ground-based survey provides a more specific hard target assessment of response needs and dollar damage. This is a federal disaster declaration process. The FEMA website provides a wealth of information and resources regarding the declaration process and all aspects of disaster preparation and response, including FEMA grant programs that support pre-disaster mitigation activities and infrastructure photo inventories designed to protect homes, schools, public buildings, and critical facilities, and how to submit and support requests for some supplemental declarations. To conclude, you want to use photo and data mapping to document. Many decisions are made prior to FEMA's arrival, so it is imperative to document and photo journal all activities. Again, we'll be able to answer precise questions on system capabilities and costs and use me as a contact to answer your specific questions, and we'll provide the contact information in the slides that you can request and in follow-up email that we'll send to all participants. With that, I'm going to go to a live demo of GeoJot. This is the home screen for the GeoJot app. It's running on an iPad, and as Stephanie mentioned, this will also run on the iPhone, and in a short time will be available on Android smartphones and Android tablets. So what you're looking at here is 3 areas of the home screen. The top area is to manage your attribute lists. The second area has to do with the camera and the camera roll. And the third area is for settings and help. Now what I'm going to do is take you through the top area to begin with. This is a list of the attributes lists that I have. So this is a menu of my attributes lists. And just to show you a few here, we mentioned Accomack County. These are a couple lists that they actually use in documenting hurricane damage. And we're in the section of GeoJot where you can actually edit and rearrange your lists, add to them, etc. So as I show you this, to begin with, the top one is the FEMA category. So as we're taking a photo, what information do we want to choose from a drop-down list that explains what that photo is all about? So in this case, I have selections such as bridges and roads, water control facilities, public utilities. If I think of something else, I can use the plus key and simply add in another attribute value that might describe the photo I've just taken. Now, this would be available for my subsequent photos, and I can actually email these lists to other users of the equipment. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to show another part of the list. Let's just do degree of damage. In this case, it's pre-populated with 4 different degrees of damage that I can use to describe the photo that I've taken. And again, when I'm out there, I don't want to be typing all this in if I can avoid it, so I'm choosing from the attributes that I've used to pre-populate the list. Another one from Accomack County is has such things as dollar amount damage. Well, there I might want to actually edit in a value, and I may want to do things, edit in a list, and maybe I want to put in something like, say $12,890 to $23,000. Excuse my typing. And I can then, if I want to do gradations, I can then build a list of different values. And this is going to be important as I'm trying to document the dollar amount of damage to see if indeed when all the reporters, people like me in the field, have brought their data encoded photographs back in, if we meet the threshold for a disaster declaration. To go back out one layer, the list we're going to work with today is the Brown County list, and this one, for demonstration purposes, I've just put together, and it has a listing of different information that we might want to use to describe the photos we're going to take. So, for instance, water depth, right now we have 3 levels. If I want to put in another one like completely flooded, I just type it in, and now that becomes the 5th or the fourth in this case, attribute that I can use in that list to easily describe subsequent photos. One last thing on lists, a couple things. Right now I'm showing Brown County with a check mark in the left-hand corner. If I want to email that to my team, I select it, I touch email the list, I choose who I want to send it to, and send it. Now that list will provide a way of for my team to collect consistent information, so we're not calling things with different names and whatnot as we're collecting data. If I wanted to enter a completely new attribute list, I can do that also. So if that was Brown County, maybe the list I want to enter is a list having to do with Louisiana flooding. Whoops, you do need to spell right here. That has now become like my 9th attribute list. It has at this point no attribute values, but I can add them here, and again, whatever I think or you think might help your folks in the field to better and more easily describe the photographs. You add to the list. So I've just added two of them for examples, but these are easy for you to create, and you create it around the mission or the project you are working on at the time. I'm going to go back now. Since we do have a list that we're already using, it's my default list. I'm going to go out to the camera, and now I'm ready to take a picture out in the field in the disaster response process. A few things we're looking at here that are displayed shows you the status of your GeoJot application in your camera. A few things are, first of all, the accuracy of your GPS is indicated here. Your latitude and longitude are indicated in the middle in green. Your elevation above sea level here. The direction that you're taking the photo, your compass direction here. The list you're using, in this case it's the Brown County PDA here. If I wanted to change any of those, turn them on and off, I can do that simply by switching them off, and I've lost my elevation above sea level by turning it off. I can also turn on and off a locking mechanism, so if I want to get the most precise GPS accuracy, I can, for instance, walk up to the subject matter of my photo and turn the GPS lock on, and then walk back to wherever I want to frame my photo, 5 feet away, 30 feet away, different angles. They'll all have the same GPS coordinates until I also turn the lock back off. So with that, I'm going to take a picture of this construction crew, and I'm going to give it some information. It has to do with the flood, so I'm going to choose that. PA category, I think in this case we'll say it's protective measures. Property type, we'll say it's state government. Degree of damage, not affected. So again, all of these are things that you can pre-populate in your lists. If it's not in your list, you can always then just type it in. But the idea here is to pre-populate these lists that are going to be used over and over and be the basis for consistent data collection. When you're done, you touch Done. All of the information from GPS coordinates, time, date, compass direction and the attributes that I've just selected now is encoded actually in the JPEG of the photo. So it's going to be sealed in the original photo. If I now go out and go to the camera roll and take a look at that last picture, here we are. I have several different ways of looking at it. The photo, I can look at the attributes. In this case, the attributes I've just added: flood, category, property type, degree of damage, county. Or I can look at it on a map. And here it's going to show me some of the attribute information and place it on the map. I do, of course, have choices for what kind of map I might want to be using to place my photo. And this is all on your iPhone or your smartphone or your tablet. So I'm going to go back out, and we again can see the different photos in our camera roll with the first few attributes also listed along with the time and date of the photo capture. The settings are under user control, so you can set how you want to use coordinates, degrees, minutes, and second, decimal degrees, etc. How you want to display and use spatial measurements, feet or meters, and how you want to use the compass direction, whether you want to capture the photo as full size or if you want to use a lower level to conserve space or for other reasons. Also, it allows you to, for instant transfer of the photos using the cloud, to set up a cloud transfer mechanism, and you can decide whether you want it automatically sent to a cloud and then down to your office computer to a designated directory, or if you might want to send them, make that decision photo by photo. You can also separately choose the size of the photo that you want to send into your processing computer. Again, do you want it the full photo or something smaller? Here you can choose the folder you're going to be sending it to. You can rename at this point the photos, so you can use a prefix name that you just decide to type in. In this case, we're just using the word GeoJot. I can change that if I start typing. Or, very powerful feature is I can use the information from one of my attribute fields. So if an attribute might be type of subject, and say it's things like bridges, structures, waterways, or whatever, and I want to pre-name, if you will, the photos, I can say, for instance, have it choose Memo 1 and use the attribute value from Memo 1 as the first part of the name. Very powerful feature. So I guess the last thing here to go over is with the iPhone and the iPad and with processing of the photos through GPS Photo Link, the accuracy of the GPS coordinates is about 5 meters, which is a higher accuracy than photos that are just taken with the iPhone and iPad natively. We process them out using our software to a higher degree of accuracy. The other thing is we do have context-sensitive help throughout the program. So wherever you are, you can just type the help key and it will show you where you are and what you're doing. So with that, I'm going to now go to the next step, which is to use the desktop software to process the photos. And what you're seeing here is GPS Photo Link, and we organize it in a project manager. So right now you're looking at my projects, and I can group these in directories if I want, nested directories. So if all I want to see is my asset management projects, or all I want to see is my disaster response projects, I can group them that way. I'm going to click on the Brown County project, and the project manager shows me now the project, and it also shows me on the left my 7-step wizard for managing the photos and data that I'm bringing into the project. The first thing I do, though, is to find the photos that I want to use in my project. So if they've been sent automatically using the cloud and GeoJot to a directory, I can navigate to that directory on my computer and find the photos and select them either all in the folder, or I can check them individually and bring them into my project. I can also drag and drop them into the project if I want. And of course, you can get the photos to your processing or to a place your processing computer can use them again by the cloud, USB. If you have a removable SD card in your device, you can plug that into the computer or email them and pick them up from email. So right now I'm showing all the photos in my project, and this is for the Brown County flooding example. The next step is to go to the attribute editor, and if I click on a photo, I'll bring up the idea here that on the left column is the photo. It orients you to what photo you're focused on. On the far right column is the same photo displayed on a map. So here's the photo. If I hover over it, I do see the photo displayed on the map. If I touch Zoom Selected, it's going to bring me into that photo in a much closer view of Earth. In the middle column are the alphanumeric attributes, all of which are, at this point, editable by the user if they show up in blue. So in this case, my latitude and longitude, my compass direction are all editable. If I click on this and say I'm familiar with the project and I realize, you know what, we do have 5-meter accuracy, but this one is a little bit over here, and I've moved it. What that does is actually reconfigure my latitude and longitude. I could have also written in new lat long, and it would have moved the icon. So I do have, if I'm familiar with the project, the ability to adjust photographic information. If I have photos that are not geotagged, I can actually bring those in also using this button, which allows me to bring those photos in and designate where they should go, and it will at that point give them latitude and longitude coordinates. So here, what I probably did for Brown County is, on the top one, the title, is I probably selected all of my photos, and I then named them all Brown County 2009 flood. You can rename in batch all your photos or any of the attributes here, or you could, if you want, select them one by one by holding down the Control key and just changing the attribute information for selected photos. I'm going to look now at the memos section, and these are what we just showed you in GeoJot. So here's the attribute, the event, what kind of event, it's a flood, what kind of PA category, predictive measures, what kind of property type. Well, this is not really accurate here because it says residential. If I want to change that to canal, I can do that. So again, all of these are editable. But these, you have up to 24 different descriptive attributes used to describe your photo. The next section is a photo editor. The idea here is with both the alphanumeric attributes and the photo, you're getting the information ready for use by somebody that is not you and may not be familiar with the project. So here you can do things like crop, adjust the color, use the pencil to write on the photo, draw squares around areas that you want to highlight. The third to the last step is to, if you so choose, is to watermark the photo. You choose your watermarks from your attributes using the attribute picker. They're added to your list of watermarks. You can control where they go by selecting the row. In this case, if you look at the photo, we have 6 rows of watermarks at the top of the photo, 6 rows at the bottom. In this case, we've watermarked outside the photo. I can bring them in the photo. I can change their color. A lot of control over the watermarks. The second to last step is to select your shared output settings, including photo information, whether you're using original or watermark photos, if you're using information as in the title or the photo comment. For printed reports, you have control over things like the title page. You also have control over the kinds of maps you're going to use in the reports. So Google, ArcGIS, or USGS for both your title page and your individual pages for the reports. You also can choose to use your own maps and custom maps if you so want to. The next one, and this is important if you're loading the information into either a spatial or a relational database, is to choose the attributes that you're going to use and import into your databases. And here again, you do it using the attribute picker, either picking them by clicking them here or unclicking them, or subtracting them off here. The order of the attributes may be important if you're trying to line them up with what's in your database to append to database, so you can move them around. And lastly, on this section is you can rename the photos, again by using attribute information. And here, again, the same convention is you click and unclick the different attributes, and they get added to the name, and we're seeing a preview down here. I can adjust where they show up in the name by moving these around a bit. So I always see a preview of how the name of my photo is going to look. By the way, even though the name of your photo output, this will be the name of your photo output, we never, we make a copy of your original photos, so you can always go back to your original photo and your original data if you so choose. Lastly, we select the output that you want. So again, the report files are Web, Word, or Adobe. The data files include shape files for ArcGIS, geodatabases, personal file, and enterprise for ArcGIS also, including the ability to do blob type geodatabases where your photos are actually included in the geodatabase, so you never have to worry about broken links. Google Earth KML files are included. Universal digital mapping system files are included. And the last two are a true access database and a true comma delimited flat file for importing information into database and back-end systems. Again, this system has context-sensitive help and you can see what you need to do at any step of the way. When you're done with the 7-step wizard, you create output. And in this case, it would have been shape files, Google Earth, and text files, and a Microsoft Word report. I'm going to go to the project manager, and if I click on this, it does show me my output. Rather than bringing it up, I'm going to just go over to Google Earth. Here is the Brown County Google Earth output. If I click on any one of the icons here, I show the photo plus the attribute information that, again, I processed using GPS PhotoLink. Also, let's see. wanted to show you this because this is the Accomack County public-facing website. So this is showing hurricane damage after Hurricane Irene, I believe it was, about a year ago or so. So I click on any icon and it shows me, say I'm a resident wondering if I can get back into the neighborhood, it shows me what the responders have taken a photograph of, and this is public facing, so we actually just go out to the website and take a look at it. I think that's a pretty good overview. Now I think we'll have some time to answer some of your questions. So Rick Bobbitt has joined me here, and we'll take a look at
Yep. Hello everyone, this is Rick Bobbitt, and we're going to be answering some of your questions here. So if you have any questions, please feel free to enter them into the questions box, and we'll get to as many as we can as time allows. The first question is about the importance for the disasters or an algorithm or model that makes a classification for the attributes. And for the FEMA list that we use as an example, the FEMA field personnel are trained to make those classifications for themselves. So like you saw on the FEMA list, they can choose and classify most of that information on their own.
Yeah, some of the lists have to do with things like initial damage assessment, preliminary damage assessment, and the lists may change depending on the part of the disaster declaration you're trying to support. And again, a lot of that information can be found on FEMA's website.
And then someone else asked if the app would be built for iPad, like taking the full advantage of the screen, and we're definitely looking into that. Right now it's built for the iPhone, and on the iPad it's just kind of in double mode, but it actually works really well because the text is pretty big and the photos you get are the same, but we are looking into like doing more of a native iPad app. And the next question is, when will the Android version be ready? It's in beta right now. It's out to many users who are using it all over the world. And so hopefully in the next month or so, the real version will be done and ready to download and use on the Android devices. Someone asked if we're going to add U.S. National Grid as a coordinate option. For GeoJot, it's probably not on our list of priorities right now. If people need it and we get some more requests for it, basically we're trying to shift most of that work onto GPS PhotoLink. GPS PhotoLink has the full Blue Marble geographics datum and projection engine, so you can do anything you want in GPS PhotoLink and watermark the photos with U.S. National Grid or anything you want. So that's the direction we're going now. Someone asked about changing the different maps that appear, and in GeoJot right now we are only using the Google Maps as backgrounds. We are trying to, or thinking about adding like Esri background maps, which would use the Esri public-facing maps, and that would also allow us to use any Esri like ArcGIS server as a map background for it. In GPS PhotoLink, we can do that right now. We can not only use Google and ArcGIS public-facing base maps, but if you're serving up your own base maps on an ArcGIS server, then you just type in that URL in GPS PhotoLink, and then that can be the background map that's used for your photos.
One question is, can you take advantage of some of the templates that we already have? And yes, just contact me, John Clark. I'll give you my contact information again later, and I'll be glad to send you the ones we have as started.
Okay, and let's see, any more questions? Here we go. Oops. The question right now is for cloud transfer, and Dropbox is built into the Android and iPhone versions, and someone's asking if there's any other options, and we are looking into some other options like Box.net or Amazon Cloud, and if you have any specific requirements or some kind of private cloud, just send John an email, and we'll take those in hand and see what we can do with those. Someone asked about Bing Maps, and they're not supported right now on the Android or Apple devices. And even in GPS PhotoLink, we do have some live Bing Maps that get created with the web pages, but not as a background maps for the photos.
One question is about pricing, and the apps are available on the website, like the Microsoft App Store. GeoJot is $99.99, and we do have packages available. So, for instance, we have a GeoJot Enterprise package, and if you want to equip a field crew, that comes with 30 GeoJots, and Enterprise license also for GPS PhotoLink. So just get with me, and I'll take you through exactly all the things that come with that and the price. The Enterprise pricing also can be available through our reseller network in a few months. So we'll be working with our resellers on the Enterprise version of GPS PhotoLink and the GeoJot package.
So someone else is asking about updates to GeoJot software on the iPhone and iPads, and it's all automatic. When the new version comes out, you just go to the App Store on your device, and you can download an update to the GeoJot software. We just released a new version last week that has the Dropbox, and everyone who bought it, everyone who had bought it, can get a free update to that new version. Someone else asked about what is the maximum number of attributes that can be entered. And right now on GeoJot it's 24. The 4 titled ones, the title, comment, description, and the other one. And then we have 20 other we call memo or free form attributes. So it's 24 attributes. Again, if you anticipate a need for more attributes or things you want with that, just again email John and tell him what your needs are, and we can see what we can do for you.
Might point out, though, that the attribute values under each attribute that you can select from is unlimited. So that can be very powerful.
And someone's asking about the attributes again, how long of text you can enter in, and it's almost unlimited basically, but you can definitely enter in a few paragraphs of text if you need to for each attribute, and those will get passed along to the software. Someone's asking about how the software is licensed. I assume that means GPS PhotoLink. And right now we have various options. We have a single seat license that's $349, and then John talked about some enterprise licensing that does kind of bundle in some GeoJots and enterprise floating type licenses for PhotoLink. So if you need more of that, just contact John, and he'd be willing to talk with you about that as well.
We would be willing, one question is, can we coordinate a special webinar for a company, a department, or a group of counties? And by all means, just let me know, and we'll set that up for you.
And someone else is asking about accuracy of the GPS. And of course, it's limited to the accuracy of the device. And on the iPhone, you can easily get 3 to 5 meter accuracy. And we've seen that on most Androids as well, although the Android hardware is a little more varied, so it's kind of hard to know. But you can usually just check the specs of the device you're trying, and we store the full precision of whatever the device can have.
Can you add additional outside documents to a report? If you choose the Microsoft Word report, certainly, because you're creating a Word document, and then you just would add your document as Microsoft Word pages. PhotoLink is needed, so it's your desktop preparation and processing system, and it is needed to process the GeoJot photos and data.
And someone asked about the demo we showed. Did we process the photos in PhotoLink, or did you use the lat long from the iPad? And we use the lat long from the iPad. Whenever you take the photo with the iPad, at least with the iPad 2 with GPS, you have to make sure you get the iPad 2 that has a GPS chip, the one with the 3G GPS chip. Then yes, it's using the coordinates that were taken from the iPad to initially bring them into PhotoLink. Like John showed, you can edit the attributes or move them around or edit the points. Plus, we're talking about accuracy as well. If you use, like in the iPhone, the camera app to take a photo, the iPhone itself only stores the positions to an accuracy of about 60 feet or so. Whereas when you take the photo with GeoJot, we store it to the full accuracy of the device, which can be 10 to 15 feet or so.
Ask if we can post some of our collection forms. I assume you mean our attribute lists on our website. Again, right now the process of sharing them is through email, so if you do need some of them, contact me. In the future, we will, I'm sure, be having a site for starter lists for you on our website. But right now, contact me, John Clark.
And someone else about Excel input or to be used in lieu of access use. I'm not sure if that means input into what, but you can use the flat file, the CSV file we produce in GPS PhotoLink to view the files and view all the data in Excel as well.
Educational licensing, yes, we do have an educational package that's quite reasonable. It is a 30-seat lab or classroom package that includes 30 GeoJots and 30 GPS photo links, and contact me about that because, again, we do want to get this in the classrooms.
And someone else asked if they were carrying a separate device and recording a track log and then use GPS PhotoLink to geotag the values. Would the lat long be overwritten in the JPEG metadata? And the answer is yes. So we do have many customers who use Trimbles out in the field. They use their iPhones to take photos, and then if they have Trimble data, they can use GPS PhotoLink to update their photos and get a more precise location by geotagging them in GPS PhotoLink with their Trimble data. Then someone else asked about reading NEMA from a GPS, from an external GPS receiver, presumably from Bluetooth, and that is on our list of features to add in the future, is to be able to connect an Android device to an external GPS receiver via Bluetooth. With iPhone, it's not as possible since the iPhone closes down their Bluetooth and doesn't let developers get access to it. But on the Android, that's definitely a possibility, not only connecting to a GPS receiver, but also like laser rangefinders via Bluetooth. And someone's asking about connectivity to the internet. Is cell service or Wi-Fi needed to capture the position? And the answer is no. Many of these devices are used way out in the boonies with no cell coverage or Wi-Fi coverage, and that is not needed to take the photos and do the attributes. The GPS is a separate device on a chip on the device, so that if you're out in the field and have no cell phone or Wi-Fi, you can still take a photo. It'll capture the GPS information, and you can attribute it in the field. Then when you get back to a cell site or Wi-Fi, you can then upload the photos from them.
The one question is about attribute lists, and the way we create them is using the tablet or the smartphone and typing the lists and the list values in, the attributes and attributes values in. Some folks will use a Bluetooth connected desktop keyboard to do that. But the idea is also list consistency, so once you have a master list, you can email it out to your crew. But having done that, your crew may find things that they want to add. They can do that, and that's the reason that you then eventually use GPS PhotoLink to edit and make your data consistent and accurate for the end users.
And someone else asked about if the products are on GSA schedule, and our GPS PhotoLink software is on GSA, but the apps are not, since they go through Apple right now. They go through Apple, so the apps are not on GSA, but the GPS PhotoLink desktop software is on GSA schedule. And you can contact John to get that schedule number and everything on that if you need that. Well, we're about done, so if you have any other final questions, get those out there. Otherwise, any questions we can answer, we will have this whole question list, and we'll try to get back to you individually.
And we also have a Q&A from other previous webinars posted to our website. I believe we'll be posting this one and the answers to these questions to our website also in a week or so.
And so someone again asked about the cloud, and right now it only supports Dropbox. It does not support Google Drive directly. However, with Google Drive or Box.net, you could use the third-party apps themselves to sync the photos across to the cloud if you want. But for now, GeoJot only has Dropbox integrated into it.
On any of these other cloud services, though, please let me know what your thoughts are and how you would use it, and I'll feed those into our development team.
And the last question is GeoJot available for individual sale? And yes, it is. So we talk about enterprise pricing and all that, but yes, it is available for individual sale through iTunes from the Apple, for the Apple devices, and then it'll be on Google Play or the Google Marketplace as well for Android for individual purchases.
Very good. I think that we've answered most of the questions. Again, any more, we'd be happy to answer them individually via email. I know we couldn't go in a lot of depth on any of the systems or pricing or features, so please contact me, John Clark. My contact information will be in a follow-up email. Here it is here, and we're happy you were able to attend the webinar session today, and we look forward to working with you in the future.